We all know that mosquitoes are annoying. They buzz loudly, swarm around us, and bite us, leaving itchy bumps on our skin. Unfortunately, though, these bumps may only be the beginning. Sometimes, mosquitoes aren't as harmless as we think. Female mosquitoes can be infected with a deadly parasite known as Plasmodium, which they ingest by feeding on an infected host's blood. Once a mosquito becomes a carrier, she can then infect a human each time she bites. The Plasmodium parasite is responsible for the disease commonly known as malaria, which can result in a variety of symptoms, including chills, fevers, and weaker immune systems. Once the parasite completes its life cycle inside a human, the human is able to transmit Plasmodium back into an uninfected mosquito, thus continuing the spread of infection. However, this life cycle isn't as simple as it sounds. There are lots of steps that need to be completed, both inside Plasmodium's host human and its vector, the mosquito. So now, let's take a closer look at these steps in all of the phases of Plasmodium's life. When a female mosquito consumes Plasmodium, she ingests the pre-sexual forms of the parasite, called gametocytes, which soon burst and turn into gametes, the mature sex cells. Once formed, the male and female gametes fuse together and penetrate the mosquito's stomach, settling on her outer gut lining to form an oocyst. These oocysts produce thousands of infectious forms called sporozoites. After 8 to 15 days, the oocysts burst and release all of their sporozoites into the mosquito's body, where they travel to her salivary glands. Once they're in a mosquito's salivary glands, she is ready to infect a human. When the infected mosquito bites someone, she injects these sporozoites into the human's bloodstream, where they travel to the liver and invade liver cells. Here, the parasite's asexual reproduction takes place. Over the course of 5 to 16 days, they grow, divide, and produce tens of thousands of red blood cell invaders called merozoites. These merozoites leave the liver cells and enter back into the bloodstream, where they invade red blood cells. Once there, they produce new asexual merozoites, which infect more red blood cells, thus perpetuating the cycle. However, not all of the replicated merozoites are asexual. Some turn into sexual forms known as gametocytes, which circulate the bloodstream and wait for a mosquito to bite her human host. Once the mosquito ingests these gametocytes, the cycle begins again. Near the end of Plasmodium's life cycle inside a human, when the merozoites infect red blood cells, a human starts to feel noticeable symptoms. These include chills, high fevers, and fatigue. Another well-known symptom of malaria is anemia, which is caused by a low red blood cell count and can lower immune systems. Low immune systems make it much harder for our bodies to fight off other dangerous infections, which is never good. However, these aren't all of the symptoms Plasmodium causes. If untreated, malaria can be fatal, the most concerning symptom of them all. Each year, there are around 500 million cases of malaria, which result in about 1 million deaths around the world. The most susceptible people to this disease are young children, pregnant women, and the elderly. Others who are more likely to get malaria are those who live in subtropical climates. Because of this, regions with the highest risk are Africa south of the Sahara and parts of Oceania. Fortunately, though, researchers are exploring ways to prevent and cure malaria. But even though scientists haven't yet created extremely effective medications, people in high-risk areas can all use some of the most basic preventative techniques, which include wearing insect repellent, extra clothing, and sleeping underneath mosquito nets. With education and medical advancements, we are all hopeful that in the future, this disease will go from being an epidemic to a rare occurrence.